Today we're going to look at integers. Negative numbers are numbers less than 0. So if we're looking at a number line and we're looking at the 0 mark, any number less than 0 is assigned a negative value. It's a way for us to show numbers that are less than that middle value, that 0 value. Integers are whole numbers that can be negative, positive, or 0. So some examples of negative numbers we have here are -1, -4, -6. Integers include all of these numbers that are shown here. 0 and -3, 2, all the positive numbers. So any number that's positive, any whole number that's positive, or 0 or negative is an integer. Numbers that aren't integers include fractions, decimals, things that are in between the dashes on this number line here. But the integers extend up to positive infinity, or infinitely in that direction, and down to negative infinity, all the way down in that direction. Keeping on going, they're all integers, all of those whole number values. Each negative number has a positive opposite. So if I'm looking at -4, the opposite of -4 is 4. It's our positive value. So the opposite will always be the same distance from 0 on the number line. So the opposite here, -4, is the same distance to its opposite, +4 to 0 there on the number line. So if we have a look at an example here, we need to insert these two symbols, either of these two symbols, to make these statements true. The two symbols we're looking at here are the less than symbol and the greater than symbol. So the statement would read, one number is less than a second number, or one number is greater than another number. So we need to insert each of those symbols, the appropriate symbol in each of these boxes here. For the first one, if we're looking at comparing -2 and 3, we can have a look at them on our number line. Number line is a really helpful way for us to look at when we're adding negative numbers or adding, subtracting, and looking at the relationship between different numbers, comparing them. It can be really helpful to look at it visually. So if we have a look and find -2 on our number line, which is here, -2 is here on our number line, and we can look and see where 3 is. If a number is to the left on the number line, that number is smaller than the number on the right. The numbers on the left are smaller. If you think about this, the number line maybe is a temperature scale. If I'm thinking about a positive temperature, 6 degrees Celsius, the negative temperatures are all much colder than that if we were looking at it as a temperature scale. So here, which is the bigger number? 3 is the bigger number. So I would need to say -2 is less than 3. So which symbol do we use? We use the symbol that's pointing to the -2 there. So this is the less than symbol. So this statement is true, and it says -2 is less than 3, which is true. We can see it on a number line. -2 here is less than our value for 3. If we look at the next question here, we're trying to find which symbol goes in between here, -1 and -6. So if we look at them on our number line, -1's here, -6 is here on our number line. Now I can see that -6 is further to the left than -1, so -6 is less than -1. If we're thinking about it as temperature again, we can think that, well, -6 is going to be colder than -1 degrees Celsius. So that means -1 is greater than -6, and we need to use the greater than symbol. So -1 is greater than -6 there. A handy way to remember which one's which, for the greater than or less than symbol, the pointy end will always be pointing to the lower number. A lot of people like to think of it as like some alligator's teeth here, some alligator's teeth, and the alligator always wants to eat the bigger number. So it's the open jaws of the alligator always be pointing towards the bigger number. So here, 3 is the bigger number compared to -2. So here we've got the alligator jaws trying to eat the 3. And here, -1 is the bigger number compared to -6. And so the alligator's jaws are trying to eat -6 there. We need to remember, however, to make sure that when we're saying the statement, we might have inserted the symbol in the correct way, but we need to read the statement as it's read from left to right, just like we would read other text. So here, -2 is less than 3, and -1 is greater than -6.